Welcome back to Mental Lab, guys. And yes, here we are once again with another episode that I would consider downer, I would guess. I'm going to say in advance already, you guys obviously know I got to preface everything. I'm going to say in advance already, if you need a podcast to help you go to sleep, this episode right here might be the one, because I am feeling so many things, and all of those things are so sad and depressing and defeating and all these things. So we're going to talk about it. This is going to be a shorter episode for sure this time, because I actually have a virtual meeting like immediately like afterwards. So this is going to be a bit shorter. So I want to go ahead and I'll just get into all the content for today. I do have coffee this time, but once again, just like last audio episode, I'm not feeling well, and I just got in and I need to talk to you guys, so we're going to talk. I made some coffee so that way, hopefully, my energy goes up a little bit. So hopefully by the end of this, my energy is a lot better. So if you hear me ASMR sipping on my coffee, then that's what's going on. So if you guys are new to the podcast, to the community, check us out on officialmentallab.com. We got a bunch of content over there, bunch of podcast stuff. We got a bunch of different content over there, and a lot of stuff that more than just like the studios section of I think we actually are the Mental Lab, official Mental Lab community and studios. So not only do we do like content, we also do a lot of things community wise. So forums, chat, support, all these different types of things, all this stuff. So check it out. I know I did say I have other episodes planned, and I didn't want to come and have a whole another episode. I was downing, and I was hoping I would feel better, but I still don't feel better yet. So you know what? We're just gonna talk about it. All right, guys. I hope that's okay. I hope that's okay. Plus, I think after the last audio episode, I need to take a chill pill anyway, because I was extremely frustrated and aggravated with myself. And it was pretty hype. It was pretty hype, pretty loud, actually. That episode was. So this one is one that my mom can listen to. And this is one that you can listen to your kids with. At some point, I might end up, saying not to let kids listen to a certain part, but I'll give that disclaimer beforehand. Oh, speaking of disclaimer, I don't want to forget the trigger warning, like last episode. So, hey guys, a lot of the things to talk about in the podcast, especially in these last few episodes, can be extremely triggering. It definitely is for me. Especially emotional wise. But if you do find yourself or experience that you are feeling, these feelings that it probably sounds like I'm feeling, or, you guys are being extremely triggered, I do want you to do all those other great things I always tell you guys to do all of them at once. But the most important thing is that you guys, do go and get some help. And if you need some resources, the website has a great list of resources. Just go to officialmentallab.com/resources. You can find it all there. Lots of different things to help you out when you do feel down. I guess when you feel like me, you guys are my resource though. So, this is where I go to when I need a little bit more assistance, so anyway, guys, so I hope you guys have had a good week. Today is rough. As many of you know, I am still in the military, active duty in the military, in the Marine Corps. And currently, let me even backtrack some more. So I have just the absolute worst detachment issues. I have bad attachment issues, like putting up walls and whatnot. But also, once I let the walls down, I let them in, and I attach to them very heavily. It has ruined, relationships, not just romantic ones, friendships, those kinds of things. But even worse than my attachment issues are my detachment issues. So that is meaning letting people go or pushing them away or leaving or separating, anything like that. Death is another piece of it, and I'm having a really hard time dealing with it. And I 100% knew that I would around this time of the year, because right now, this time of the year is where in the military, you go somewhere and you're stationed somewhere for 3 years. And then after those 3 years, it's time to go. Well, I'm getting out of the military pretty soon or relatively pretty soon, but within this year, And I got here 3 years ago with, a lot of the people. I got here 3 years ago, right? But I get here at the same time as about 90 other people, because we all came here for a specific job, and so we all showed up for that schooling at the same time, and we all do our 3 years together. And for the most part, we bond very well, like in our first few months of just being here. And it's been 3 years, meaning that it's time for everybody to leave, all 90 plus of us to leave. And it's really hard because, one, I'm already struggling with leaving myself, or with leaving, myself. I'm not leaving myself. I'm not leaving myself behind. And then two, everybody else is leaving. But I'm going to be here for a bit long. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'll leave pretty soon. But if not, I'll be here for a much longer time than the rest of them, meaning that they'll all be gone and I'll be here. Meaning that every time I have to go to base, like what you guys already know is a huge trigger of mine, I'm now going to be even more triggered because it's going to feel even more empty and desolate without, the class that I got here with. So that's hard. I mean, it's already getting that way because people have been leaving like the last few months. And then 3, the good friends and people that I have met are leaving. And it's so hard because it just makes me feel like just leaving people or people leaving me or whatever the case is, whether obviously look, I don't want you guys to think that I'm like super selfish. Okay. And I'm not, it's not that, these people are leaving me. They're just leaving. But my detachment, issues come in because I feel like I don't ever have continuity in my life. Growing up, we moved around so much. Longest time that I was in a school besides one of my elementary schools. So one of my elementary schools, I got there in first grade at the second half, I think it was. I think I went to like a Christian or Catholic school, something like that, private school, the first half of my first grade. Mom, if you're listening, write it in the comments. I don't remember. But I don't remember being at that school for my entire first grade. But I was there for half of first grade, all of second, all of third, and then half of fourth. So it's 3 years. But besides those years, the longest I was at a school was 2 years each for each high school that I went to. So I only went to 2, obviously, split into 4. And you just get numb to, I don't want to say necessarily numb because now I'm not numb to it, but you get, I guess I should say numb because being numb for so long only created these problems within me, because you don't have continuity of friends. Like you don't have somebody who you grew up with. It's so hard for me to listen to people talk about like, oh yeah, I've known this person since preschool, like we've grown up together, we did this, we did that. I've made great friendships, and I will not discount or discredit the friendships I've made and the people I've met and enjoyed and all those things, But And I think last episode I talked about envy, and it's probably envy because my envy shows up in many different ways. But with the great friendships I have made, imagine the level of how close we could be and how close I could have and how rich of relationships with people I could have if I've known them that long, if I've known my friends longer than a few years, the longest friend that I have that I have consistently talked to over the years, like obviously like you have like high school friends. And for those of you who are currently in high school, you had middle school friends, and when you got to your freshman year of high school, like some of them dissipated and you got new friends. And as you go on through high school, you kind of find more friend groups and shift around, but it's nothing like leaving high school and going to college, or leaving high school and going to work, or leaving your town when you turn 18 and going to a different town. But just so you end up losing touch with, those certain friends. And like, yeah, they're still friends. So like if you go back and visit, you see them and you talk to them every now and again, but it's very different from like growing up with friends, with certain friends, and you hang out with them and they're your life and they're all these things, and you grow up and, all this stuff. Right. I don't even know how to explain it because I've never had that. But the longest friend I've had was my ex-husband, who I met my sophomore year of high school. And through the years, even though we thought we were supposed to be dating and thought we were supposed to be married, even through all that stuff and passively hating each other for like years and time in between, all the breakups and all that stuff and the divorce and all that stuff, and just the things that we did at each other and to each other, through all of that stuff, regardless, we still loved each other. I never thought that me and him would ever be friends. Even in a relationship, I think at some point I was like, we're not friends. Like, you have other friends, but we should be friends. I should be your friend. And he's like, he was just like, we're not friends. You're my husband. There's a difference. And people can have their own mindsets, and I do understand and respect that. But for me, what I would like is for my partner to be my friend. He doesn't have to be my bestest friend in the world, but I want him to be my friend because it just makes things more enjoyable that way. We can find whatever. This isn't an episode about relationship, but even through all that, we still somehow love each other enough to be able to communicate with each other and communicate in such a way that eventually we ended up becoming best friends. And so our friendship has just grown and developed even more so. And I already know, a lot about him. I thought I knew a lot about him until we became best friends. And I really did not know that much about him. And then, at that point I started learning and knowing, and then we moved in together. We were roommates and all these things. And it was great. And he's a, great person, still my best friend to this day, but that's about 10 years. Yeah, no, not even 10. I'm 27. I met him when I was 15. 12 years. Jerron, if you're listening to it, 12 years. 12 years. That is so long. That is so long. That's not even fathomable for me to know someone and talk to them consistently for 12 years. And like I said, even through us hating each other and trying and failing at relationship with each other and all this stuff, our friendship is so strong and rich, So let's imagine if I just had a friend. Let's imagine if me and him decided just that we should be friends from day one, Just imagine where we'd be at by now. I can't even imagine how strong of a friend. And I'm not saying just length of time. Length of time equals quality of friendship, because that's not the case. So I do understand life happens a lot of times and blah 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 blah. But what I am saying is there are those 1 in a million friends, or 1 in 1,000, 1 in 100, or whatever, is that you do end up having that enriched. Like, I see it. I hear people talk about it, and it's very hard to listen to, because that's something that I want. And I got keep saying my envy shows up in many different ways, but I am one very envious person. It was one thing I learned. I learned a few things in 2021. All right. One, I learned that I am not immune to mental health issues. I learned that. I guess I kind of learned that a while ago, but that was something I learned last year for sure. It was like the full blow or the full force of it. Right. Two, I learned that I have a very addictive personality. Like I find something that makes me feel good or whatever the case, and it becomes everything. I'm a very passionate person. I know that I'm a passionate person, but that turns into addiction real quick with anything to the point where it's hurting me. I've talked about that before. And then after that, I also learned later on in the year that I'm a very envious person, and I have a lot of envy harboring inside of my body from not think like just physical things like, oh, like that person has a nicer house than me. No, it's a lot of times it's characteristics, it's experiences that I'm envious of, that I want, that I like long for. It's healthy things. I don't want to just say healthy relationship, but healthy things. Healthy sex, healthy, friendships, healthy relationships with, family members, healthy, all these things. Okay. There's so many things that I am envious of, and so many experiences and moments and all these things. And like, yeah, I told you guys what, I guess I believe depression is. And that's just, you don't appreciate the life that you have. And because all of our lives can be great, or based on our perception can be absolutely garbage. And I will say, like, I've had lots of experiences and moments and stuff that maybe other people might be envious of. But those mostly include the sex stuff that I've done, which is still another reason why I feel like absolute garbage about myself, because a lot of the stuff that I feel like other people would want, I have done, and it's not something that I'm proud of, It's just other people want those experiences because it's something foreign or something fetishizing or something like that, and I guess I should say, and again, this is like the whole depression. I guess there are other things that I have done and accomplished, but those are things that I've worked for. It's a difference versus like working for something versus, going out and just enjoying something. Maybe not, I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. Friendships, right? And knowing people for a while. But so anyway, going all the way back. So just moving around all the time and not really having a set place, I think, and then just becoming so numb to it all and just saying, it's whatever, doesn't matter. I think eventually when I do start to make these kind of deep connections with the people that I have been trying to make, I realize, because I had that phase where I went through and I just felt like nothing matters. I start to look at the things that's going on in my life, and I was just like, and this was early last year, I was just like, these really don't matter. Like at the end of the day, I'm going to die. They're going to die. So this friendship doesn't matter. If, and a lot of times, and it wasn't just like, oh, I'm like having a good day with my friends and I'm just like, oh, this friendship doesn't matter. No, that's not the case. My mindset turns to those kinds of things to help me pre-cope or pre-process, because we talked about processing a few episodes ago, to pre-process the trauma that I will most likely have when I do need to separate, because I knew the time, so jumping back to the whole thing with, the military and me being here for 3 years and leaving, jump back to that. I know our expiration date as being connected and friends, like I know when it's coming. And over a year ago, I knew it was going to happen, and I knew we would all split ways, friends or not friends or whatever, me just by myself, whatever the case. I knew we would all split ways, and it's rough. Right? Because knowing this and my body just already having such strong detachment issues, I will detach early to grieve and process through that time, so that way it softens the blow when I do actually have to separate, And not that I completely self-sabotage or sabotage, the friendships and relationships and all those things that I have. It's not that myself, charming, goes out and looks to do that. No, it's just I choose subconsciously not to nurture the relationships that I do have. I think I might have talked about it before. It's extremely difficult for me to nurture my relationships and take care of myself. But at the same time, or not at the same time, on a different note, but a similar note, if I do know that things are going to come to an end, whether our friendships can last, but the point is, it's hard. It's so hard for me to leave someone or to split from somebody or whatever the case is. It's so hard that my brain can't even fathom something continuing afterwards. It cannot fathom it. And I can see some of my friends, I'll continue to talk to them, but I'll, see them and things like that. But the relationships become so dangerous for me because if anything goes wrong in a relationship, I'm done nurturing it. I'm not going to put the effort in. Subconsciously, again, this isn't just me. I just know what happens, and I know because I've been monitoring it for the last year and a half, because I've noticed, I talked to my, my counselor and she noticed, and, she's helping me understand all those things. And then my psychiatrist, he understood, and he's been trying to tell me for the last year, take this next year before you leave to really enjoy the relationships that you do have. I was really trying my hardest to. He's like, it's so much better to have a relationship with people and understanding when it comes to an end, it's going to come to an end. And if, things continue through that, then that's just a blessing. That makes sense to me. And that's what I tried to do. But the detachment is so hard. I've lost so many friends in the last 2 years. So many friends or so many people around me, which only contributes to my loneliness, even more so in my depression. Right. So that's that it hurts a lot because I just know I'm going to go somewhere else and I want to leave. Right. So it makes you feel like, why make these relationships with people? Granted, I'm getting out of the military and my goal is to move somewhere where I want to live for at least 10 years. And because I want to get my degree, I want to start, working in a hospital or working in just general clinical stuff as a physical therapist. And then I want to move after that, after I paid off my house or something like that. I want to move somewhere else and open up my own clinic, so that's what my goals are. That's what I want to do. And that 10 years sounds amazing. It sounds like absolutely amazing. I can't even imagine living in the same place for 10 years. I can't imagine being in the same town for 10 years, doing the same things for 10 years. I can't even imagine that. But it's comforting because I can actually make good, strong bonds with people, and even doing that, I could keep up more stable wise. I don't know what the word is. I can keep up better or whatever with the ones I do already have, because I'm in the same place and I'm not moving all over the country, and it can become easier to travel and visit each other, So that's nice, but I don't think about that when I am not feeling good, So today, my best friend here had her going away. Henny, you guys met her in the, I think I might have talked about her before as well a few times, but you guys met her in the human library. She's one of the books. You guys met her. You see our chemistry. That's my girl. She's been here for me for so much. I've been there for her as much as I feel like I could, which I feel like I never, ever can repay her for just everything she's done. But so today was her going away celebration, and of all of the people who's had one from my class, like all 90 plus of us that's had one. Well, I'm not all of us have one because not all of us made it, right? And that's another issue that I have that I'll talk about in a little bit. But of all of us that did make it and did finish and are leaving or whatnot, she's the only one who I decided that I'm going to go to and speak at. Now these going aways are a celebration, like a send off or whatever, where a bunch of invited people come together to acknowledge and send off the person who is leaving and acknowledge the time that they've had and all those kinds of things. And so, we could share memories and laughs and share words of advice, all those different kinds of things. I'm sure there's a civilian equivalent out there or something. I know there's like parties in college or people. We're not going to talk about those days, okay? But so you guys also know it's been really hard for me to get out of the house. And so it's already hard for me to get out of the house. It's hard for me to go on base. I'm not doing this in uniform, even though I would love to because she's my girl, but she understands, the situation and whatnot. I'm around all these other Marines, around all these other drill instructors, and I'm literally in the drill instructor school where I was made to be a drill instructor with all these memories and all these pictures and all these things. I knew it was going to be tough. I knew it already. So I already told myself, in advance, like I'm going to go and deal with what I have to. And when I can't take anymore, I'll leave. So I'll try and speak earlier so that way I can stay and watch a little bit longer. And if for whatever reason it gets too much for me and let me tell y'all, I was in there for no longer than -2 minutes and I was already feeling it. My stomach was already super tight. And what I mean by -2 minutes, like 2 minutes of me walking up to the doors, but like 2 minutes before I got to the doors, I was already feeling it. That's how like strong of a memory that place has on me, or as strong of a hold that place has on me. And it's so rough. It's so crazy how something that you were once so passionate about. I think that's what's so hard with me is because I was so passionate about this place, this job, this opportunity, the experiences that I will have, all these things, so passionate about it that when it's on the flip side, that same amount of passion now turns to that same amount of depression or trigger. There we go. Trigger. Because it's something I wanted so bad. So I already knew it was going to be hard, but I really wanted to speak because I love her and I definitely owe it to her and I really wanted to, and so I spoke. I started choking up and I was trying to hold back the tears. There was, they were, they were definitely there, but I was already shaking before I even went up to speak because it was just so much. I'm proud of myself for doing it. After I finished speaking, I had to leave, and so I told her, I want to leave. I know she understands. But while there, the person who spoke right before me, she spoke about how they've known each other since they were much younger ranks. So like 8-9 years ago, and I just told you guys how much that gets to me. And that was hard because I'm just like, well, what am I going to go up there and say? Like, I've known her only like the last 3 years, and I feel like I know, like she knows everything about me, and like we're the best friends and all this stuff. But like this person, they've known each other for forever, like their bond is, and now like that's again, my self-sabotage ways are always working. They're always working. They don't stop. It doesn't stop. It doesn't matter what the case is. So yeah, it might sound like I hate myself, and yeah, there we go. Jesus Christ. But afterwards, I was already feeling it, and that made me feel even worse. I was about to cry while she was talking, and I got up and I, tried to talk, and I didn't. I was going to say all these great memories and funny things. I really wanted to laugh, and I wanted to kind of check. It didn't come out at all. Probably the most depressing going away, like, appreciation speech or whatever ever given in the world, and I feel so bad because that's not what I wanted it to be for her. But God, Jesus, and it made me feel even worse of a person, even more garbage, and it made me feel like, why did I even do that? Like, but I know, like, I did it for her. Like, it's for her. It's not about the way, it's not about how, but God, it was just rough. So, that was just hard thinking about her going off and leaving and us splitting, because I don't say goodbye to anybody. Like, I think I might have told you guys, I started tearing up and going into a frenzy whenever I had to do my exit with my psychiatrist. Like, I can't do goodbyes and all that stuff. I just can't. It's just way too much for me. No matter how close we are, I just cannot do it. So there's that part. Now the other part that is making me feel depressed as crap today is the fact that I'm at the end of these 3 years. 3 years ago, I strongly believed that I would be getting awarded, the same things and having the same going aways, and, getting my, my awards and accolades that showed that I completed this job successfully and all these things. And here I am, relieved from that job, getting kicked out of the Marine Corps. So much passion, so much motivation and drive that I barely had, that I was literally using. I was borrowing that stuff from other people, like, it took me so much just to actually come here and not just quit and just get out. But my best friend, Victoria, she lent me her motivation and her drive to do it. And it got me far enough to be able to graduate from DI school. After that, Henny, her motivation, her drive, she let me borrow some of that too, just to get me through the first year of being broken. Then the second year, I was doing better. I was doing a lot better. I got a lot of my keep going and my determination from my boy Darif. I got a lot of from him. We worked together. He believed in me, and when I didn't believe in myself, when nobody else believed in me. And then the last year, I got a lot of my can do, which was this last year, from Henny, because she went through it the year before. And as you guys heard in her story, when she was speaking, all the things she was going through with the Marine Corps, and then not knowing where her career would end, and not knowing if she'd be legitimately in prison. Like, it's tough already. And then her father passed away due to COVID. And then her brother or uncle, immediately after. That was so hard for her. And so this last year, I pulled a lot from her. She has just been so much. And I'm so proud of her. But where I am, I'm not saying that like I'm jealous of her per se at all, but I've had these goals and I barely had the motivation. I was pulling it from other places, just to pulling that passion from other places, just to kind of get me through and help me really thrive. And I did, and I did well, I'm proud of myself for what I did do, I guess, but it's just really hard to be here at the end of the 3 years and see where I am, you know what I'm saying? And to see that I'm not in a place where I wanted to be. And I know a lot of people feel that same way with like life and their careers and all those things. And I get it. I completely get it. So what do? I don't know. Like, I just don't feel well. I don't. And it's hard because I feel like a failure I mean, I feel like I'm a failure in so many different ways, but I feel like a failure. I have less self-esteem and less self-confidence, and I don't believe that I can do whatever. You know, I believe that I can do whatever within certain limitations. Within the limitations of me limiting myself, I can do whatever. You know, I can do it. God knows if I just tell myself I can't do it, if I just tell myself I can't do this, you know what? You sure right. I can't, and I'm not, and I'm gonna excel at not being whatever. You know, I'm kind of kidding, but also not. I'm trying to figure out how to say that. You know, like I don't feel like I've done enough to be able to do whatever, right? But what I do feel like is the things that I'm good at, like podcasting or whatever. I don't even know if I'm good at this. At this point, I just know that I'm just journaling with my voice into a microphone and to a video. You know, I'm not sure. I know I'm creative with it. I don't know how I compare to others, but I'm also not comparing myself to others. It's like this community, this podcast is like the one thing that I am so passionate about that I don't have envy of others. Like I'm not comparing, you know, myself with the podcast to other podcasts or anything like that. And I can listen to other ones and listen to other, you know, small ones and all these things and all this stuff and not have the envy of like the support of all this different thing. There's so much good that I get from this community and this podcast. There's so much that I get from it. I get to be creative. I get to be openly expressive, which I can't be all the time. I get to be vulnerable, which I really am not doing that often at all because I'm always wearing a mask. You know, I can be me and it is so nice. You know, this is the only place where I feel like I feel like I'm Superman. You know, I feel like I'm Superman with you guys. Like we're all just superheroes, or I don't even want to say Superman. I feel like WandaVision, Wanda or the Scarlet Witch or whatever. Like I thrive off this, you know, this reality that I make in this community. Like I thrive off of it. And I know if you guys have seen WandaVision, you guys are all like, what? But the whole plot or whatever is Wanda was in so much pain from losing everybody and everything. And the grief was just so much that subconsciously or whatever, not just subconsciously, but it played out, her magic pushed out into the physical world. She created an entire community that she could live in and just be herself and be free and just have what she needed. And that was it. She didn't need any, she didn't want to have anything more. And that was so liberating for her to have that. And that makes sense. And I completely get it. And like, even though at the end, like we find out like, girl, maybe you need some mental, you know, therapy, like for this, you know, to help you grieve and all these things. But still, that's what it feels like with, you know, the podcast. Like I come here and it's not like you guys are mindless puppets at all, but I can be liberated through the podcast and through the community, and I can be free and I can be me. And it's very nice, you know. I really appreciate you guys. Don't ever make me have to leave you guys, because I don't ever. I'll try my hardest. You know, I have, you know, plans for the future. I have great visions for the podcast and the community. I really do. And we're growing. I know we are. We're doing great. I feel like in every episode, I thank and appreciate you guys more and more, because I think I'm realizing more and more that like I don't got much. I don't, and it might be sad to say, but I don't have much. I don't have many people. I got a few people, and I got a few things, and I got a few whatevers. But I got this, and this is enough, you know. to get me through, at least for now. And it feels like every day it's enough, you know. But yeah, guys, like I said, today's just been tough. It's just hard for me to leave people. Oh, there was a song I wanted to reference, Easy by Demi Lovato. It is a great song. I wanted to talk about it in the episode, but I'm running out of time here. I want to make sure that you guys get a good full episode. But I want to read you these lyrics. All right, so like I said, Easy by Demi Lovato and Noah Cyrus. All right, so the first the first verse doesn't it makes a lot of sense. You just gotta listen to the whole song, so I would definitely recommend you guys listen to it. But anyway, so I'll leave through the gift shop. I'm keeping all my souvenirs, keychain and a cough drop, postcards say I wish that you were here, and I'll tell you not to worry. Here, this is the part, okay? And I'll tell you not to worry, to make sure that you believe in me. I do that so much, especially with when I do know that I'm separated from someone, whatever, because I tell them I'm fine, I'm okay, don't worry, like I'll be all right. So that way they believe that I'm going to be okay and that they believe that I can do whatever, you know. I do it all the time. I mean, I literally did it today. Somebody texted me, asked me, you know, for an update on just how I'm doing. And I was like, I'm all right. Like, I'm literally not having a good day and things are horrible, but you know what? It's okay. He's one of the people that's leaving. Right? So I don't want them to worry. He literally lives right down the street. He could walk over to my house. I don't want him to worry about me. You know, so I do it with my family all the time. Okay, so continue. And then she says, but the hardest part of leaving is to make it look so easy. That is the hardest part, because just like the example that happened to me today, I get in front of it and I literally am like, I am going to just bring up good memories and laughs and kiki, because that's what I want. That's what I want it to be remembered as. And so it wasn't that easy. And I show how hard it is for me to just make it look easy. Is how hard it is for me to leave or let you leave or whatever. And I do it all the time. I do it in romantic relationships too. I mean, I remember whenever I broke up with Telvin, the entire hour and some change ride to drop him off or whatever, I was just ready to die of crying, you know, and I was holding it in just enough because I was trying my hardest to make it look easy. As soon as we parked, that was it. It was a done deal. The tears and the anxiety were going. So she continues with the chorus and she says, the hardest part of leaving is accepting all the reasons that somehow we keep repeating endlessly. Once again, repeating endlessly. Every few years, I got to go. And it's like, why do I need to, like, I try to not accept that, but every single time, that's the hardest, like, it's hard enough to make it look easy, but the hardest part really is accepting just how endless this cycle is. It just goes and it just keeps going and it keeps going. You meet people, you make great bonds, and then you have to leave, and then you're hurt, and then you don't want to talk to nobody, and then you bond with somebody, and then you leave, and it over and over. And the hardest part of leaving is to, I guess there's a lot of hardest parts, but the hardest part of leaving is to hold the heavy breathing back from showing you how hard it is for me to make it look so easy. I hope you'll forgive me, even though I'm not apologizing, which is some strong stuff, because just like today, I felt so bad for the things I said, because I really wish that I was able to produce something better or mask it better. But I hope that she can forgive me. I think that she will. I don't want to apologize, because it was what was real and honest. And I know I did say things from my heart, and, you know, I know she felt them, but I do really hope she forgives me for the things I said, because all right. So she says, I will try to do the same thing for you. I don't think that applies to this situation, but many other situations in my life, yes. I hope you forgive me for the night. Okay, that's other things. All right, but yeah, guys. So listen to that song. Listen to Easy by Demi Lovato. It's tattooed on my leg as well as the rest of her album. But with that being said, guys, I guess I do feel better. I'm not crying anymore like I was at the start of this episode. And I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Make sure you check out the website to, communicate within the community. If you guys feel anything or you guys have an understanding or you want to share some support or show some love or, share some stories, put them in the forum below and we can chat about them. But with all that being said, I appreciate you guys. Have a lovely week. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Because it's either going to be soon or it's going to be later. And I think the way how karma works is that say if the person did something to you and you didn't talk to them for years, karma still has a way of having that person come back into your life for a snapshot, and then they'll tell you oh, we haven't talked to each other for 10 years. Yeah, man, I was really going through it. You know what I mean? And then in my head, I'm that's karma. You get what I'm saying? But if people don't believe in karma, then
which you don't.
She don't, but
yeah.
I am karma.
I believe in it, so I'm just but if a person be oh, I lost my job. Probably karma because you decided to go, you have a whole gangbang with 3 dudes behind, and you're supposed to be dating me. So it's that's probably karma. That's why you lost your job.